Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen! Hello, yodelers! We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, Peter, with my co-host,
Jackie!
And
Japheth.
And
Father Yodeler.
I don't even have to point to you guys anymore, and you guys know exactly what order.
Jackie goes first.
Yep.
I'll go second, or Peter goes second.
You know what? Next time I'm not going to go first.
That'll just be awkward.
Then we're going to be like,
Well, because I'm probably hosting, so.
I won't go at all.
It's like
You start us, Jackie.
when we did the gumball rally, I was always in the back, always hanging on in the back. So.
Right.
Yeah, we got to get Father Yodeler to start one once.
I know.
No, you don't want that.
But today we're going to have a fun discussion talking about the Disney villains.
Ooh.
And their motivations behind their actions, and whether or not we feel that their actions make sense to what they're motivated.
You mean like they're just to their cause?
Right. Does it make sense that
Would they stand trial?
This must be our counter programming to Christmas in July. We're doing villains in July.
Yeah, villains in July. You know, we're halfway to Halloween, and so we're gonna have a nice villain discussion. So I'll just start one off that I think would be a good discussion point. Let's talk about Jafar.
Ooh, I was thinking Gaston was going to go first, but Jafar?
Let's start with Jafar.
He's power driven.
Yes, definitely power driven.
So
he worked his way up.
He's a working man.
He is a working man.
So he's second in command, right? He's the Grand Vizier, right? And what does he want?
Do you think he cheated his way with his staff?
If there's a good chance of it.
How do you think he got his staff?
Yeah, that was my question. How did he get the staff?
Well, he's
magic comes with a price. We learned that in Once Upon a Time.
That
was like one of the best things.
Who did he sacrifice for?
Iago's parents.
Iago wasn't always a parrot.
Well, he's like, I sacrificed my friend to become a talking parrot. He's like, what? And he's like, the guy gives out the power. He's like, done. He's like, what the heck? He's like, don't worry, I'll use this magic to help you. Run on this wheel so I can get a dust storm to see who the diamond in the rough is.
Well, I bring up Jafar because it's me and my wife. In preparation for this, we had this discussion about Jafar, and it led to a really good discussion.
We talk about what our groceries are going to be.
No,
you guys have fun discussions.
Oh yeah.
What's for dinner? Where do the kids have to go? Is there enough diapers?
No, those discussions happen too. This is our bedroom talk.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
What's Jafar's motivation?
Moving on.
Hey, at least it's not Medusa. It's like, ooh, talk like Medusa. From the Rescuers.
Oh.
She, as your wife, pulls off the eyelashes. Whap.
But so we have Jafar, right? He's what does he want? He wants to be the Sultan, right?
Yeah.
And what does he try to do? What does he do to become Sultan?
I mean, we're introduced in the movie him trying to get the lamp.
Okay, so he wants to use magical powers to eventually become Sultan, right?
But you got to think he's already got the Sultan under his thumb.
Right, and that was the point me and my wife we were talking about. It's like, why would he go to the point of becoming Sultan through a wish?
To get recognition.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, you broke the rule.
I did. I broke the rule. My phone went off. Sorry, wife.
Ignored.
She's going to listen on this episode.
She knows if I hang up. She don't listen to our episodes, please. So there's recognition. So that's what his what else?
Or do you think he just trying to cut the loose ends? So just in case the Sultan tosses him.
Well, that was what I was thinking about was, okay, so throughout this whole time, this Jafar's been basically doing whatever he wants.
He's the puppet master.
He controls the guards.
Yeah.
He controls the Sultan. Why all of a sudden does he feel like he needs to be Sultan?
Because
And then it occurred to me, how does the movie begin? With Jasmine being set up to be married.
Do you think he wants to marry Jasmine?
It's not that he wants to marry Jasmine.
No.
He's afraid as soon as Jasmine gets married and the new Sultan comes in, he gets the oust.
He also wants the notoriety of being, it's about me.
The ego.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
And having
It
a
is-
legacy.
Yes. Because I don't think he gets much praise for being the vizier. I mean, did you see him getting much recognition except for maybe the guards said, okay.
We take our orders
Well,
from
and I'm
Jafar.
sure, he sees Sultan. People are like, oh, we love the Sultan. He's like, but I'm doing all the work.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess my question was, like, in my mind, I'm going, like, what is he getting out of being this close? Like, is he siphoning off money? Like, what was the benefit of becoming that close? Is it just one step closer for him, or was he able to get more on the back end?
I mean, he's definitely power driven. I mean, and in the end, that ends up being his downfall. Is his drive,
His greed.
his greed of power, and I think becoming Sultan was him solidifying his political power, you could say, and then he becomes the sorcerer, and then Aladdin tricks him in becoming the genie because the genie's more powerful.
And he's also knowledge driven too. I mean, he's obviously educated himself, and probably being in the Sultan's presence allows him to have access to records of things that you don't get on the normal street of Agrabah.
That's true. I mean, he does know his geography to where he challenges Prince Abubu on where he
It's
is.
like,
Where are you from?
Oh,
Very far away. Try me.
Exactly.
I know geography. I won my 4th grade geography bee.
I feel in my history class, I knew all the rivers in Africa. But no, I just thought that was interesting to take a deep dive and analysis on some.
So
of these villains
once he
here.
becomes the sorcerer, do you think he's the Sultan at that point,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Before he becomes
He
a
has
genie.
everything at that point.
Do you think he stays put, or do you think he expands his power across the globe?
Oh, he would probably try to take over.
Do you think so?
Eventually, I mean, that's you see that being his flaw when his power gets challenged. Aladdin challenges his power and being like, "Oh, somebody can just take your power away," and he's like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah, so he's always looking for the ultimate.
He wants to be the top dog.
But he was already the most powerful
He
sorcerer.
was. He was.
And so, do you think he could have taken over the world?
Yeah.
He probably could have. With the power that he had, he absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me if.
So,
he
who would
could.
win in a battle? Hercules against Jafar?
Well, we already saw that play out
Did we in the
in the animated show.
Did they show us?
Yeah, because they did the swap where they did Hades against Aladdin and
Oh, really?
and
I must have missed. I
Jafar
must have
versus
gone to school that
Hercules.
day.
yeah, they did do that episode in the
I
Hercules
don't
TV
remember
show.
that.
I
Yeah.
do vaguely remember. I don't remember what happened, but
Because
I'm going to
Jafar-
guess the good guys won.
Jafar dies and he teams up with Hades, and they're both saying like, "Oh, my person's worse than yours," and so they swap heroes. And
The
they
villain swap.
yeah, they do, and so yeah, it was a fun episode.
That's a fun. Go
But
back.
the Hercules show was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
They had some great guest voices.
Oh yeah. All the it's like if you like the TV show Friends, I think they were all in it. So yeah, is there another villain that you guys maybe want to do? You mentioned Gaston.
Gaston.
Let's talk about Gaston. What's his motivation?
To get the
It's
girl.
lust for the girl.
To get the
and jealousy
perfect
right
girl
there.
because he's the perfect guy.
Yeah.
Is it
So
about the perfect girl, or is it about the girl that he can't have?
No, because it wasn't because like he thought he could get her before he was even rejected.
He
Yeah.
thinks he deserves everything because he is so great.
Yeah, that was
And
the opening
so
song.
It's just,
I get-
just natural.
She's the most beautiful, and she should be my wife. And so it's just more of like, I'm beautiful and great, and she's beautiful. We'll have beautiful kids, and
But would that have been enough for him?
I think so. Honestly, if Belle just said like, "Yeah, I'm down. Let's have
Yeah,
lots of kids," it's over.
Yeah, because he would have lots of kids. Belle would be stuck taking care of the kids. He would be off
Hunting.
Yeah,
and-
but if he came
Really?
up against the beast, he's still going to try to tackle it because that's part of his persona.
But it was
here's-
kind of
here's
like-
the best.
But he would
beast
never
I
have
can try
found
to
it.
hunt.
Nobody. It was shrouded in mystery
Right.
until it was time for
Until
Belle.
Maurice came along.
Yeah,
I know.
crazy old Maurice. Crazy old Maurice. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So I think he was. I think he would have been satisfied. I don't think it's one of those things like, oh, she's rejected me. I do believe he likes the thrill of the hunt,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a crime to be rejected and to pursue someone. And it was throwing her dad, less than optimal.
Yes, that was not the best way.
I'd
to
throw
win
my
the girl.
dad in a prison for
But you
the.
know, the Beast did the same thing. He threw Belle's father in the prison.
There we go. Is that bad? We rooted for the beast. We're like, yeah.
Yeah. You a bad guy.
I don't know that we were rooting for him at that point.
We all, like, we're watching Beauty and the Beast. You're all like, well, we saw the commercial. They're going to dance.
Well,
When we didn't see the dance and then we see the prison, you're like, oh, I'm tainted. He's just too much. He's
Well,
been
what?
canceled now.
Gaston's vain, right? Beast was vain. He was a vain boy, right?
So Belle has a type.
Belle was a type.
She attracts vain people.
I mean,
Do you think Gaston would eventually turn into a beast?
No. Only if
he's
he-
already a monster himself already with
Meet
his
the
ego.
Evil,
I would
meet
say
the witch
I
in
don't
the
think
woods?
so. I don't think so because Gaston gains like his like confidence and happiness is driven by
Accomplishment.
his acceptance from everybody else.
Yeah.
When everybody, because like there was a whole scene where he felt all down because he got rejected by Belle, and then what cheered him up?
Publicly humiliated.
Exactly.
My
And then-
daughter's been watching Beauty and the Beast a lot, so
And what-
I can pull from it.
And what cheers him up? The whole town rallying behind him, pumping him up, and making him feel good. And that's
it wasn't
what that's
it
what
was LeFou pumping everyone.
Yeah, his
up.
crony
every-
pumped
but-
him up because the crony needs
but
to have
everyone-
someone to follow.
But everyone in town was on board. Was all like, "Yeah,
yeah,
you're
because he
awesome."
bites and during fights he fights dirty. All right,
He's
so
also the most interesting character probably
In town?
In town.
I don't know that hair and makeup guy. She's quite strange. Like, dude, have you looked in the mirror you're holding? Like, dude, your head is the shape of a triangle.
Yeah, I don't think the village was going to get around.
I like
him,
the
no.
villager. She's like, I need success.
No,
No,
it's 6
6
eggs.
I know.
It's 6
I just like the success one. That's
Need
too expensive.
Success.
It's too expensive.
Sorry.
Modern feminism isn't in this movie.
Yeah, do you know Gaston really isn't that bad?
Well, and
And
like,
then he rises up, like he sees the beast, and he goes,
monster.
"We have a monster here. We need to take care of this."
he's a hunter.
He was very opportunistic, and yeah, he wanted the beast's head mounted. That's ego, yeah.
And
But
it's
that's his
also,
MO.
You know, if it's kind of like the military in a lot of movies where they're made out to the bad guys. You don't understand, E.T. He just wants to be our friend. No, he's a monster.
Yeah.
Let's get the nukes out.
Well, and you think about in the movie Brave, where they are hunting. What's the bear's name?
Mom.
No,
Eleanor.
No, it's like Meduva or
Oh, Mordu.
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 Yes. they wanted to hunt Mordu so they wouldn't cause more.
Yeah, he's a threat. He's bigger than them. He's
Yeah.
scary. You don't know what this mystical creature, because it's not normal. So naturally, you got to get rid of it. That's why we don't have any unicorns and dragons anymore,
right.
So
We killed them off.
So his turning point was when the beast was like, "Oh, I'm done," right? And then he had to go in for that final, like.
When you're in a fight for your life, you pull out any trick. So yeah, he got compassion, but he's like all hopped up on adrenaline. He's been on the side of a castle and a mountain, and he's like, I'm gonna take my. He's a goal-oriented person, and he is gonna do whatever it takes to get his target.
And
Do you blame him for his personality? That's just his nature.
Well, but you also see a different side at the end of the fight because the beast isn't fighting back.
Right, he's like, no,
He's accepting his fate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
but when you're up against the lion, you don't.
Right, and like there was a moment where he could have hightailed and left.
Yeah.
Beast let him go.
But he doesn't know the nature of the beast, whether the beast wants to hunt him once he turns his back.
But
like,
in
you don't
the
know
end,
his he doesn't know his enemy.
In
Well, he
the
said it.
end, Gaston says,
You're gonna
tells
trust
the
a
beast,
monster
he
that tells
tells
you go. Like I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna have my back.
Well, like
not facing him.
Throughout the whole fight, he is taunting the beast, talking about his love for Belle.
Yeah.
And then he's all like, Belle is mine! Like, his motivation is, you are getting in the way of my plan to be with
You can't have what I want.
Belle. Right.
Yeah, he can't lose.
Right.
He's the typical like alpha guy.
So, like, I don't think
Is it wrong to be an alpha
I don't
guy?
think he saw Beast as the threat to, like, oh, he's going to attack us. It was, he's getting in the way of my possession of Belle.
So
Yeah.
his sin is coveting Belle because he's willing to throw Belle's father into the insane asylum in order to
blackmail.
get
To win. Yeah, he'll do whatever it takes to win. Like, yeah, it's unsavory, but it's, he's doing whatever he can to win.
He'll blackmail, steal, murder.
So
to get
he's
what he
a
wants.
modern day politician,
Right.
Like
Pretty much.
or corporate America, like. So it's one of those, like, is he the worst villain? No, he's very
No.
opportunistic to get what he wants.
He's very focused.
Like, he's willing to sacrifice the town to attack whatever so he can get his target and distract.
Right.
So who do you think is the worst villain?
Who's the most? My wife has
Who's the most evil?
My wife
I think
threw
it's
out
Medusa from
Ursula.
You think Ursula? I think
She threw out Ursula was a pretty bad villain because she talked about what Ursula does, like how because it wasn't just Ariel. She manipulated all the mermaids, and what is she? She doesn't murder them. She entraps them and makes them like
Watch.
see things. I don't even know what they are.
seagrass.
Well, that's why I say, well, then maybe.
And they're like eternally stuck as this like.
but they're still alive. You look at the
Do
evil.
you want to be alive like that? And how long have they
Well, I
been
mean, that
stuck
could be a
like that?
representation of, like, Ursula's like the bank. You make a deal with the bank, and,
Yeah.
like, something happens
Sure.
in the undercut, and then you're stuck
It's the
underneath.
mob.
Yeah, it could be. You could pick any kind of thing. Yes,
the
you're
mob will
are
murder
you
you.
alive when you're under the thumb of an authority and a contract? No, you're not.
But there's hope that things will
Yes.
change, and hope
it's
won
better
out
than
in
death.
this one.
Yeah.
But the evil queen was really evil in Snow White. Go cut Snow White's heart out. Got a
'Cause
little
she's
girl.
prettier
she-
than me.
That's true.
She's
That's-
prettier than
You would
That's
say that's
pretty
heartless,
evil.
but Snow White was going to be the heartless one pretty soon.
Exactly. So that's pretty.
All right, let's just pick
evil.
one and we'll talk about it and we'll come to a conclusion because I think we'll all have our one that we think's pretty evil, and it comes down to like what's the greater sin. Like,
Yeah, at the moment I'm stuck on the evil
All
queen.
right, let's talk about
let's talk about Evil Queen then. You're stuck. Let's go. Let's work it through.
Okay, so again, that's the evil part.
She starts
It's
off
a very
with
basic
with
story.
a
It's
motive.
jealousy with who's the fairer one.
Right.
the fairest of them all.
There wasn't like a gradual build up to
No, it's
the
right at
evil
the
act.
beginning.
It's like go.
She marries. She wants power, and she wants to be known as the fairest of all. And
Are we talking
she's
about,
willing
like,
to kill
animation?
for it. Yep.
We're
Animation
gonna
story.
try to stick with animation.
Okay, all right. Just curious because
and not the
Not the live.
well, you got like
action
Once
one.
Upon a Time and like the different
live
different
actions
stories.
at a different
This
perspective.
is Disney OG.
OG.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I mean, as far as the sleeping death, that can be considered merciful and kind of
Man.
the same
Hey,
Ursula
give me
thing.
some of them apples. I'm tired. My kids are draining me.
My wife awake.
Yeah.
True love. Whoa. She's like, yeah, he's not done yet.
Got more to do. But yeah, no, it's just that one act that go out there and cut her heart out. That's pretty
It's pretty
evil.
evil. That's
I
true.
can't think
Squash
of
your enemies.
I'm trying to
by-
think of another villain that does the immediate
immediate
thing.
evil.
Well, there's Maleficent.
but it's,
She
She's
immediately-
just offended.
She immediately curses a baby that
it-
you're gonna die.
I'm
gonna murder
We'll
you.
just say an
Sleep.
entity. Like,
Well,
yeah.
no, that was the good fairy put that on there.
Oh. That's true.
that's true. So
She
Maleficent,
cursed a baby 2 minutes into the movie.
I mean, Mother Gothel stole a baby.
Yeah, Mother Gothels is up there.
She kidnapped, but she had
I think-
redeeming qualities because she took care of the baby.
Right. You could also throw out
but that
Frollo.
was purely selfish.
You could also throw out Frollo from Hunchback.
Very similar story.
He was literally ready to throw the baby down a well. It wasn't until the priest
But it was a
guilt-tripped
it was a wishing well, and he didn't have any coins, Peter.
But
You see him
disabled-
reach in his pocket, and he's like, "Oh man, all I got is a baby."
I only
and
got a
you're like,
deformed baby. Okay, I guess.
I mean, Hades.
I don't think Hades is as big of a villain as you think.
That's the
It's his
Greek
job.
like battles. That's what the
Yes.
gods do. Is this struggle for
I don't-
power and
the only
one-upping.
thing the only thing that because we talked about Hades is like the only reason why he's dead set about trying to kill Hercules is that he was told the future and says
he's a roadblock.
He's the only thing stopping you
Yeah.
from your end goal. And so that was his motivation was
He's
okay,
just chasing his dreams.
yeah.
He just sees an obstacle.
Well, he's just looking to improve his situation. He was given he talks about how bitter he is at the very beginning where he goes, "Which you gave me this job,
Well,
thanks Zeus."
And he was just
You know?
making him just be mortal, not.
No,
well,
he's
no,
gonna
he
kill
was
him.
he was going to try to
Oh.
kill him.
Yeah, he goes. You got to kill him.
that was what he was trying to do.
How do you kill a god? And then he goes,
Yeah.
"Well, you can't." And he goes, "Unless he's mortal." And he's like,
Exactly.
"Yep."
Bingo.
Yeah, it's tough because you got the
'Cause,
you have
our-
Greek tragedies and you have Shakespearean tragedies
Right.
and
'Cause, are the Greek gods really all that innocent?
What about Scar killing his own brother?
yeah, that's
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
that's again that goes under the power, seeking power and killing to get to where you want. So that goes under the Maleficent
and
the evil queen.
Jafar.
Yeah, except you look at, okay, who are we getting? An innocent girl or an innocent baby? Those seem more evil than my brother that I think has more power than me.
Exactly.
That
That's
seems-
typical power.
You've got an
for-
excuse there.
for- yeah.
There's no real excuse for the baby or
hurting
the
innocent babies, yeah.
innocent girl. That's
The one that
Well,
gets me is Medusa
Medusa,
from Rescue,
right.
Because she gives her the false hope, we're gonna find your parent, or and so she's gonna do these things, but she was gonna leave her dead in that well.
Well, what's
and I was
scary
like,
is-
that is, when you realize that,
yeah.
you're like, that is just evil.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Well, it's evil because we see it as that's a very realistic thing that we could see
Yeah.
happen in real life.
Yeah.
Is that like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this child up, make it do what I want,
There's no magic.
and then abandon it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's sure no magic.
No magic involved. Kidnapped to do their job and feed them false hope, and had no intention of returning. So there's deception just for her own gain, for her own vanity and
Never thought
greed.
about the consequences.
Or
And
if-
she has no problem knowing what the consequences are for that child. Like, don't care. I'm in it for myself.
Yeah, most of those are for individuals. What about King John? He was making everybody's life miserable
For his greed.
him,
Yeah.
for his greed. So King John and Robin Hood is up there as
He's a
well.
tyrant, yeah. Willing to throw everybody in prison.
Hey, he's part of the villainous board game, so
He's there.
He got his own thing, so he's earned his spot. He made it into a board game, folks.
He's not your typical villain because you look at it and he's not very scary or
No.
anything else, but
power.
the
the
power
abuse
and
of power.
The abuse of power is very, very evil.
My wife threw one out that I thought like was surprising to hear my wife say, but she goes, we only label Cruella as a villain because we put value on dogs. Because if she wanted to make a coat out of cow skins, we wouldn't say anything about it.
Oh, I wouldn't say anything because
What
I'm
about
chewing my.
Roseanne?
Boy, then she's the hero.
So like it was just like one of those. It's like it's true. Like because we place value on.
It was
Different
value
types
on
of-
family. All the Dalmatians were a part of the family, and that was
Yeah, the personification of these dogs as small children
Right.
makes it seem like a heinous thing.
Right.
But like, as like my dog just had puppies and we just sold them off. It was just weird. Like, I'm just taking your dogs and I'm selling them
Yep.
off, and
Yep.
my dog is just acting normal.
Yep.
But if I personify, like, I'm taking your baby and I've sold it off to another family.
Yep.
That
you're in a village.
I'm a villain. It was just
Yep.
like you have this thought as you do this for the first time, and you're like,
Yep.
I can't take care of these dogs.
Yep.
I don't want 3 more dogs. This
Yep.
is not what I want. I didn't ask for this. So like, yeah, you do the process of selling it off to a good home, but you're like, like I said, if I personify it, that sounds horrible.
Right.
So yeah, Cruella is one of those. I mean, yeah, he sends Jasper and whatever his name to club them.
Yeah, like obviously, like murdering dogs is
Stealing
bad,
them
but,
and
but
murdering
again,
them.
it's like because we've put value on dogs over other animals. Because if it was like a typical,
What if it was a
animal-
rat coat?
right?
Would we be fine with that?
We probably
would.
would
Cruella
be.
be fine?
So
Cruella probably
are we fine with the villain in Bambi?
Man.
Man.
Yeah, I told him, well, like, what villain would you hang out with the most? And I'll be like, at IHOP. And I'm like, I'll hang out with Man. Like, that's a great buck you got on there.
That's a 5-point buck, you know.
It's like that
I think it'd be cool.
killed somebody's mother. I mean, poor Bambi.
It's all about perspective.
I had no problem with that. I never liked Bambi. I thought it was a boring movie. I thought it spiced it up a bit. Kill them all, You could tell I'm probably not PETA friendly.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you go with Pocahontas.
That's one we
Ratcliffe?
don't touch.
With Ratcliffe?
Well, the funny thing is, like, I was
That's
reading the
great.
history about it, and it's funny because, like in real history, Radcliffe was like actually considered like a really good person. Like he was like a friend of the Native Americans, and everyone loved him.
You imagine he's like up
And
in
John
heaven.
Smith
He's
was
like,
the
I've gotta-
exact opposite. Like nobody liked John Smith, and like
Nobody likes the guy that's got to get things done.
right,
The governor's the good guy, and the governor tells like, "Hey, Captain,
right,
get this done."
But
So-
if you bring up him, then you got to bring up Ratigan.
Well, Ratigan's the power. He's seeking power over the rat world, or the mouse,
But he's willing to.
Mouston.
Mouston.
Of all Mouston.
Very good, like recall right there.
Yeah.
What? How many mice did we
That's what I
see
retain.
slaughtered?
Not what I learned in school, but I learned about Mouston, you know. I remember that.
So he's not very nice to
Nope.
the other mice.
Well, I mean,
But
he
man,
feeds
he's
them
got
to
a
cats.
great catchy song.
He does.
So long, farewell. That song's great.
Captain Hook's too comical to really put into that classification.
His motivation
It's revenge.
Just to get back at Peter
It's revenge.
Pan.
That's his.
And Peter Pan nags him, so
he's
Taunts
probably on the
him,
weaker side
Yeah.
of villain motivations.
And is
They're
it
really
just his
much-
nature of being a pirate to seek out an enemy?
maybe.
It's just tough because we don't have that anything more besides he cut off his hand.
Well, we know
Wouldn't
that
you seek revenge if someone cut off your hand
we
and
know
threw
that,
it to the crocodile?
Right. Absolutely. I think it is 100%. Revenge is his motivation and his sole
And
purpose.
it's justified, right? Because what did he do? What did Captain Hook do to Peter Pan?
Which we
don't
Besides a
know.
we
fight.
don't really know.
We don't know, but if it is a long time battle, he's justified in the rules of war.
Sure. We just know that, they weren't only just doing this because the pirates were complaining to Mr. Schmid, being all like, you're playing Ring Around the Rosie with Peter Pan. Like, when are we going to slit a throat? Like, when are we going to be
Pirates.
again? And
So Shere Khan's is also kind of a revenge type.
Well, yeah, he hates man.
mhm.
Yeah. So
But he's just
that's
being
nature. Like
nature.
that's human.
Yeah.
That's within their nature. But you
Animal
can all
nature.
do that with every kind of like greed, or like is that just human nature? And do we just accept
I don't think
that?
it's human nature to curse a baby.
I don't know.
depends on the culture.
Boy, you got a nice baby. You haven't cursed your baby yet. I curse you to sleep. I'm so tired of you. To sleep you go.
For me, it's
Grab that-
Stop flooding my backyard.
I curse you with a child of your own that drives up your water bill.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, I think this was a great discussion. You guys were all looking at me like I don't know what we're gonna do, but you guys, I knew this was gonna be good. Let us know what you think. What are your thoughts on some of these villains that we talked about? Maybe we'll come back. We'll revisit this.
There's
and
some
talk
more.
about...
Like we didn't even touch any of the Pixar
Nope.
villains.
No,
Nope.
maybe we'll come back and we'll do the Pixar villains, and we'll visit that on another episode.
I think Mole Man's pretty bad.
Right.
Wreaking havoc on public
I-
utilities under the ground.
Right.
Who's the villain in Finding Nemo?
Darla.
A child?
Darla, murderous child. Man, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, let us know what you think. Write us on all our social medias, our Facebook, Instagram, on our X page. But until next time, Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember before your bobsled comes to a complete stop to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.